Oh yes, you are welcome back to today's broadcast. In fact, don't skip any part of the video. Try to watch to the end for you to see and for you to understand things going on in Nigeria as it is. So this is a video concerning the Yoruba agitators, the Yorubas that went to UK to submit a letter to the UK Prime Minister and also to Charles to tell him that they want to leave Nigeria either by force or by war. So in that two aspects, they went there to submit a letter to them. In fact, don't skip any parts. Make sure you watch it. In this country, for some days or for some months now, a lot of things has been happening, mostly in Yoruba land, the Ekiti, the Ondo, the Kwara, and other parts of the West. When things like this is going on, or when things like this is happening to other places, to the Igbo, precisely, the West, they thought that everything is okay for them. They thought that they are working very well with Nigerian government, that the Igbo, they are the problem of Nigeria. But today, they are now seeing the outcome of everything. That is why they say that if your brother is hurting and you keep silent and claim that it doesn't concern you, once your own comes, then nobody will talk for you. This time, a lot has been going on. When Mazam Kano was crying with his loud voice, saying that look at what and what that is coming, then everybody keep insulting him, calling him many names. But today, the country we are staying, nobody is safe. Mostly the West. Now the East. The main reason why it's like the East is that kind cool, or that kind not so much of terrorism there. It's because of the ESN, the Biafran Liberation Force, and there's some of the Biafran people that is active. But the soldiers on the ground, Nigerian terrorists, they are trying their best to make sure that they wipe out every Biafran Liberation Force so that these Fulanese can penetrate and start doing their job like the way they have been doing it in other states. In fact, don't skip any part of it. Make sure you watch it so that you understand things we are saying. As about to watch, like, subscribe, and share it for everyone to see things going on in Nigeria.
It's calling out the name, you can't just get inside like that. They're all Nigerian citizens, by the way, because they're handing over their Nigerian passport as well, because they're checking their passport. The officer's checking their passport at the minute. Yeah. They've got to check their passport. Nigerian citizens.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless Yoruba Nation. God bless Yoruba Nation. God bless Yoruba Nation.
What is taking place basically, handing over a letter of, partition of the Yoruba people out of Nigeria. They basically, they wanted separation. They wanted to break away from Nigeria and handing over a letter to the Prime Minister of England. It means basically, what it means, the Yoruba Nation, they would break away from Nigeria, whether through war or peace. That's what the letter was saying.
All right, with what is happening now in Yoruba land, if you say it doesn't concern you, one day it will reach your turn. It's because people did not condemn what is happening somewhere else in the north. Then, and the indigenes then, they kept quiet, everything went as it is. So, but now, it is coming down. The Oyo, Kwara State, so they come down, they go. Well, there is a presentation coming from Obilo. Obilo is a notable person. You know him, is a great presenter. And somebody from the West is being interviewed concerning that situation that is happening. Well, the situation is quite a thing of concern to every Nigerian. I used to say this thing that, is it by force? Why are we forcing ourselves into existence that is not benefiting us? Because some few people have that benefit out of it, so every other person kept quiet. So that until all of us have been, that is when we will know that our eyes will clear. Well, let's watch Frank Obilo. Let's see what he has to say with that interview.
Bandits are at the edges of Yoruba land.
Yes.
Bandits are conquering territories.
Yes.
Kwara is under siege.
Yes.
What's going on?
Honestly, I didn't expect that I would have to comment or discuss the current government or what is going on under the watch of Tinubu. For two reasons. One, very personal, and second, philosophical. Maybe sometimes you get to a stage in your understanding of people and events that you think commenting or talking about them will be a waste of time. I mean, you have a man, you have somebody who is probably defecating on the streets or urinating about this, and you know that more than 1,000 people have told him, stop urinating here, and the person continues. So you, as a wise elder statesman, you don't want to comment on that anymore, because what do you want to say that is going to be different from what 1,000 people have said, and there's been no change? But I respect you as an intellectual broadcaster, and all the leaders of the APC, all the prominent leaders, said it publicly that they invited bandits into this country to drive away Jonathan. So the bandits we have, by their own admission, were created by the APC, were enhanced by APC, were influenced by APC, that's why they will say, some APC leaders or the agents will say, bandits are our brothers. When they repent, we reabsorb them. Not that. They told us that they brought bandits. They told us that when bandits needed women, they went to Chibok and gave them 360 girls.
Did they say that?
Go and research. They admitted, there was no way 360 girls would be taken away from anywhere on earth without government involvement. It's not possible. The logistics. How do you take 360 people from a school, whether in the night or in broad daylight, without agents of government being involved? It's not possible. And we've had Abacha several times being quoted that when insurgency lasts more than a week, government has a hand in it. There's no way where are these insurgents, all these bandits? How could they transport 360 people? How could they? The buses, the whatever, the logistic. Where would they take them to? How would they feed them? How would they close them? It's just not possible for a small organization like bandits to take 360 people. So it was facilitated by people in power. There's no doubt about that. So now the APC is still the government in power. It's difficult. It's difficult for them to chase away their children.
Is it intentional, or it has gone out of their hands?
Out of control.
If they brought it.
Yes, it was. Rufai told us when he was still a leader of the APC that that they also paid them, say, please go back to where we brought you from. That even when they paid them, they still refused to go because they enjoyed the patronage they've had, and they continue to stay. And of course, anytime they kidnap or anytime government gives them money, they're empowered to bring in more people. And then Buhari went to Cairo and said all Fulani anywhere in Africa should come to Nigeria. And like I said in one of my commentaries, when he was inviting Fulani from all over the world or from all over Africa to come to Nigeria, he was inviting poor, wretched, criminal Fulanis.
Yes, I don't hear from that short interview of Obilo, Edmond Obilo. Well, there is somebody like John the Baptist in the wilderness that has been saying these things years ago before it started happening. And the person is in the prison. He's in the prison, and what he said is happening now. Well, the good thing is that people are now saying it. Everybody all over Nigeria is now saying it, that, hey, this man, this is what he has been saying, At least, if not for anything, for these things that he has said should, vindicate him. But because the type of the system we run, and to please some certain people, probably that's why he is where he is today. However, let me just give you just a short video of what somebody, you might know his face, said about him. A countless number of talks like that though. But just for me to show you, you see what people are saying.
Mazi Nnamdi Kanu warned everybody about the insecurity that is going on in this country, about the plan, the agenda of the Islamization of this country, that they want to turn everybody, that by fire, by force, you must turn to an Islamic person. But when I turn to another thing, and you sent the man to prison. The most annoying part here is the Yoruba people that claim to be educated and intelligent, but because of Tinubu now, they have become brainless. You people can no longer think for yourself again. And like this, you are looking. Bandits has started taking over Yoruba land though. Yes, as you can see, recently now, over 40 people now, they don't go kidnap for your state. And they don't find one of them. That is how you will be looking until they will take over the whole Yoruba land. And in the name of Yoruba and Fulani Association, you will no longer have access to your land again. Nigeria, you are no longer intelligent again. Yoruba now, you have now become powerless. Look at all the Yoruba kings, no voice. You people are there. Figurehead, you cannot do anything. All the batobati kidnap, yes, all the kings, all the elders, they will kidnap all of you. Then you will now come back to your senses and realize that anything bad, and you keep quiet because of Tinubu. Abi, Tinubu yana lo mapada baye nje ni ile Yoruba. The Yoruba race will be ruined in the name of Tinubu, a useless human being that is not competent, that does not care about human life.
So that is it, and I tell you that anything happening within any place called Nigeria, nobody is safe in another place that feels that it is not happening at their own place. Even in the East, there are strikes. They will just be striking to testing, to test the ground, to know what will happen. I wonder the one they said that happened in Fito, just came, strike, and went like that. Hey, nothing happens. All these things are testing grounds to, know the situation before any other thing that is more than that happen. But God forbid, it will not continue like that. So let's have a view of this. Please relax and watch this. Watch this. If you have anything you want to say it to me after watching, or to others that we will meet in the comment section. Well, let's go.
We start in Oyo State, where tension is running high, with public school teachers taking to the streets on Monday to protest terrorist attacks on 3 schools in Orile Ogbomosho. 7 teachers and an unconfirmed number of students were abducted. In videos circulating online, protesters chanted solidarity songs, calling on Governor Seyi Makinde to bring them home. Let's take a look. I mean, this is real. Well, in a chilling and tragic development, one of the kidnapped teachers, identified as Michael Oyedokun, Governor Makinde has since extended his condolences to the Oyedokun family, saying 6 kidnappers related to this incident have been arrested. Meanwhile, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde stated during a Monday press conference that the government could be ready to negotiate with abductors, saying that the state government would be ready to listen to their demands. Let's take a look.
So whatever it is they demand, we're ready to listen to them, address the ones that we can address as a state government, but the children and their teachers must be released timely.
I mean, Vimbai, Ayo, Dr. Abati, you know, the government has repeatedly said that it does not negotiate with terrorists, raising questions about Makinde's statement. But on the flip side, some users on social media are commending Makinde's openness in holding press briefings to transparently update the public about the latest development on this case. Meanwhile, on Monday, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu condemned the reported killing of the kidnapped teacher, Oyedokun, calling it barbaric, while assuring the public that security operatives are working around the clock to bring the remaining students and teachers back home safely. The comments came in a statement from the president's special advisor, Bayo Ononuga, with the president also addressing the urgent need for state police. Of course, Rufai, you know that this has generated a lot of reactions, and I'll take this post on X from Wahala, who wrote, "Condemning is not a solution. We elected leaders to protect lives, not to issue statements after massacres. Working around the clock? For how long? Where is the real action to stop these attacks? This is unacceptable." Empty words again, while people suffer. Life tweet goes, "Mr. President, your condemnation and assurance on rescuing the remaining victims is noted, but this attack in Orile LGA came straight out of the same old Oyo National Park that terrorists stormed in January 2026, killing 5 forest guards before some of their gang were arrested. The reserve was never properly secured afterwards. They regrouped, planned, and struck again from the exact same base. We're tired of purely defensive operation and statements. We need sustained offensive action to clear these forests, destroy their camps, and stop them from regrouping. Lives are being lost while we chase optics and campaign rhetoric. Secure the reserves, weaken them proactively. Enough is enough." And we have Inibehe Effiong writing and calling for Tinubu not to contest again. He goes, "Tinubu has no business remaining in office as president. The killings cannot continue unabated," calling for his resignation. And obviously these killings are continuing to, come in our front burner. This morning we, had the story about 10 people killed in Katsina State as well. We saw the gruesome video of this teacher. And we have our students out there in the forest. We have our teachers out there in the forest. You cannot blame Nigerians that are really condemning just press statements at this moment.
You see, the words of an APC spokesperson now and a government spokesperson is fast becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy that he said even if you give them 30 years, they will not be able to get anything done. Because President Buhari came in 2015. How many years is it now from President Buhari getting in? He got in there because they said Jonathan couldn't fix security. The major reason why a lot of people voted President Buhari then was that he was a general, he will know how to fix security, and Jonathan couldn't fix it. He got in there 2015. Where are we today? We're in 2026, 11 years after he got in. Insecurity is still rife. President Tinubu is beginning to sound like President Buhari. Anyway, he said two of them are one. You remember what President Buhari used to say when things like this happen? You remember, Oji?
Yeah.
I assure you.
I assure you.
I assure you. I assure you. President Tinubu is always assuring, but nothing is always done. This was the same President Tinubu that when the killings in Plateau happened, he said, I assure you we'll tackle the matter. 50 people have died since then. Isn't it sad in a country that the words of the president does not even have power? As we speak today, what are they doing? Sheyi Makinde is saying that they might want to negotiate with the terrorists because they are helpless. If this happened in some countries, are you telling me that we have no technology to be able to map where those videos are being posted from? The particular location. And the security forces should use technology to be able to push them in to a point of surrender. We watched on TV now. Anyway, I don't like to compare Nigeria and America because everything is different. But we watched on TV now when the Boston Marathon Broma and his brothers Zanaya struck, how they close in on them. So are we saying that we can't close in on that bush now? We can't get forest rangers, get intel, get intelligence, closing on that bush, keep on calling them and reassuring them that you are going to do away with them, and from there track them and closing on that bush as we speak today? We live in a country where terrorists always go free. And we all think state police is going to be the solution. But we had an iteration of state police now with Amotekun and the likes. What has happened? I keep repeating, since Arakuni died, I don't see that verve and gusto around Amotekun again. Because it takes political will. Is it with these politicians you have that they are going to run state police effectively? Let's call a spade a spade. This nation on its knees. A teacher is being beheaded. We are not flying flags at half-mast. We are not mourning as a nation. People still went ahead their political primaries yesterday. And we think we have a nation. Let's keep deceiving ourselves. The day it happens to any one of you there, us here, that's the day we will know.
All right. Vimbaya, Dr. Abati, a quick comment from both of you because this is a huge security story before we go on our next segment of the show.
I made a point earlier on.
Really quickly.
That it took 2 hours for anybody to show up in those affected local governments in Oyo State, namely Orire local government, Oyo East, Surulere, and Olorun-Sogo. The attacks were coordinated very early in the morning as students were going to the assembly. And the assailants arrived on the back of a motorcycle, shooting into the air. No rescue came until 2 hours later after the terrorists had left. That should not happen in a country where they talk about intelligence, where they talk about, surveillance and all of that. Second thing, the teachers are right. No teacher should die at work. In fact, not just teachers. No citizen, nobody within this environment called Nigeria should die in the hands of terrorists. There are lessons we can learn from other jurisdictions, whether it's Sri Lanka or it is Colombia. Are we learning those lessons? We talk about kinetic, non-kinetic, just slogans all the time. Yes, the president has said what he should say, that he sympathizes, and that action should be taken on state police. And I said, well, this same state police, for how long are we going to be talking about it without action? The same day you had the attack in the 5 local government areas in Oyo State, there was also an attack in a place called Musa in Borno State, close to Sambisa, where 42 pupils were also abducted, almost reminding us, note for note, of what happened with the Chibok girls. Years later, we have not had any improvement. And I think that's where the challenge is for the Nigerian government, to see how we do not have this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. Governor Sheyi Makinde says he will negotiate. What is he going to negotiate with? I thought that a decision had been taken that we should not pay ransom. And now, of course, the state government is suggesting that it will pay ransom to kidnappers, almost fueling the economy of terrorism that people have created. All terrorists should be tracked down and they should be punished under the law, because the same Nigerian government, national or subnational, insists that these are criminals. And the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, has said that anybody that aids and abets any act of terrorism will be treated also as a terrorist.
Right.
I hope that the Nigerian government remembers that, and I hope that General Christopher Musa himself remembers that. He once said that.
Yes. All right. There was another U.S.-Nigeria joint mission yesterday that, they said they killed about 20 terrorists. Your thoughts on all of that really quickly before we sum up this segment?
Very quickly, in the morning I'd said that this is a welcome development because there are several fronts to this war as we see now. Prior it was northeast, but now we see that the theaters have expanded. So with the United States collaboration, initially with the Christmas Day strikes, we had seen an attack on the northeast, but now there seems to be a focus on the northwest, the Lake Chad Basin, which correlates with the Islamic State. Now, the question I asked in the morning is, well, what happens to other groups like Lakurawa and so forth that are penetrating and moving further south? To focus on Oyo, they released a statement that 6 people have been arrested. The president in his statement called for a tech-driven approach, which I thought was quite significant, because if you remember, was it last week that we saw the military intercepting 400 Starlink devices allegedly linked to terrorists? So you see that this war against insurgency and terror is now gaining some type of technological dimension to it as well. Similarly, the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has said that the 2 drones that they've ordered as a state 7.7 billion naira each worth of aircrafts that are supposed to be able to collect intelligence and monitor the border and so forth. He confirmed that truly those have been bought by the state, but they'll only be able to get into action and be assembled by June. So all that, tying it all together to say, unfortunately, all these efforts are still not enough. So what other efforts can we make, especially acknowledging the fact that we're seeing that the peace deals between states and insurgents have failed? The U.S.-Nigeria collaboration, we're still awaiting to see the results on that. Possibly it's too early for assessment, but some might say, well, since December, we've had enough time to assess, and so far it has led to an increase in attacks. So we continue to wait and hope that is state police our saving grace? Could there be more strategies to come out to tackle this menace?
All right. Well said, you all. Thank you.
Let's begin with issues around security, because as I said yesterday, without the security of lives and property, there can be no politics, and there certainly cannot be a free and fair election. Now, the president's comments on what was a barbaric act, as he has quoted in his words, in Oyo State are very much welcome, but they're also coming at a time where this is becoming one too many. They're becoming repetitive and they're becoming worrisome, because Nigerians at this point are looking for action and not for words, not for consolation. So what are some of the strategies that we've pursued in the past beyond this rhetoric of pushing for the speedy passing of state police, which has also turned into rhetoric that has gone into almost 2 years now, that we've been hearing the president continue to push for the speedy implementation, the speedy passing of state police. In the meantime, some of the states have started pursuing their own strategies. For example, you look at some of the northern states that have pursued peace deals. Katsina is one of those that always comes up at the top. But now you look at what's happening with these peace deals, as it was reported last week that in some communities, the bandits and these terrorist organizations are now demanding as much as 10 million naira per local government area as a levy. This is as part of the negotiated peace deals. So those are failing. And I mentioned this because the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, had said that, well, he's open to hearing what these kidnappers have to say. And we just warn and say, look at the example that has been set in the past by these so-called peace deals, these negotiations. They haven't brought much fruit in terms of sustainable peace and security to the regions that have implemented them. Then, of course, we now go to the U.S. collaboration, which is probably the biggest aspect of Nigeria's military strategy and security strategy that gets the most attention. Now, if we track back to when this particular strategy came into play with those notorious Christmas Eve bombings, strikes that took place on Christmas Eve, and we look at the trajectory of security incidents since then, we see that unfortunately there's been an upsurge since those particular attacks. Since then, we've seen the deployment of American troops, and we've been told that these troops are not to engage in combat, but that they're actually to engage in ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Now, there's debate about whether they were involved in active combat in the last two strikes that have taken place. But let's look at the positive side. The positive side is that ACLED, which tracks global conflicts, has said that the Lake Chad Basin has been home to over almost 1,500 terror attacks over the past year. Now, if you look at the strikes, they are targeted at Lake Chad and the activity of ISIS. So when we look at the U.S. collaboration, we see that there is quite an intentional targeting towards ISIS activities in the Lake Chad Basin, with the most recent one eliminating 20 terrorists in Metele in Borno State. So that's a positive side. Now, on the negative side is this continued opacity around America's involvement. Why is this a matter of importance? I highlighted it yesterday and I highlight it again today to say this is a matter of importance because once those lines become blurred, then mission creep sets in. What is mission creep? Mission creep is when you have one assignment and then you seem to expand the territory, or rather the framework with which you operate. We've seen this happen several times with the United States. Now, Nigeria is not Somalia, it's not Libya, it's not Sudan, and it's certainly not Iraq. However, one needs to learn from history and be sure that the framework with which these military cooperations happen are within a very well-defined mission. Again, I repeat, Lake Chad has been the place where we've seen some of our top military men being executed in recent times. Lake Chad Basin is also the place where we've seen some of the military camps being raided by terrorist camps. So it's a welcome development that these are the targets of the strikes. But as the United States focuses more on the Islamic State, which makes more global headlines, we have to remember that we have a couple of other enemies here in Nigeria. There's also Lakurawa focusing on the northeast, coming in from the Alliance des Etats Sahel, where there's an upsurge of that. So we say, while the US collaboration focuses on IS, what is the strategy we're implementing locally and domestically to attack Lakurawa and to bring that under control and to make sure that that is abated? Those are some of the questions. I also want to round up my conversation on security by saying that IS activity has now reached a record high of 86% in the first quarter of 2026 here in Nigeria and in West Africa. This is compared to 79% in 2025. So you can see that since the American collaboration started, there's been an upsurge in IS activity. Now, of course, our brave soldiers were killed, not executed. That's the choice of word. They were killed by the terrorist attacks.
And it is sad that our soldiers are constantly killed. But the sad part is, or the most painful part is, what is done for them afterwards? What is their welfare package like? You see, we live in a country where we have normalized the abnormal. It's a country that is currently sitting on the precipice. And I don't want to scare you this morning, but I'll say it the way it is. We live in a country where respect and dignity for those that lay their lives down every day in this country is not respected. Our soldiers are being killed. What's the afterwards welfare for their family members? Very sad. Justice Crack the other day just showed us a portion of their living conditions, and he was incarcerated. But in the same country, Sheikh Gumi can say what he says, but he's walking a free man. It speaks volumes about the country you live in. The teacher that was beheaded is a reflection of the nation we have become. The president said it's a barbaric act. A teacher was beheaded. He didn't fly the flag at half-mast. We didn't show pain. We didn't react. We just say we're going to find them and rescue the rest. It speaks volumes about the country we live in. It's a country that doesn't think and care for the poor. It's a country that neglects the poor. When are we going to fly flags at half-mast? Maybe when a former president dies, a big man dies. But for us, a teacher that was beheaded in a country where you have over 10 million out-of-school children, and a nation doesn't even shudder. A nation still goes to sleep. This morning, I would like to beg you. We can't keep saying the teacher's reward is in heaven. Let's start a teacher's fund. Anywhere around you, you see a teacher in need, reach out to them with a small teacher's fund. Because we can't afford to make our teachers feel they are left behind. They protested yesterday because their colleague was killed. But all the government says is, we'll fix it. But they never fix it. And they fail us over and over again. We can talk military strategies. We can talk killings of terrorists. We can talk American intervention. But as long as our teachers are still, and we still have some teachers in captivity, it's never going to be well. So I think that's the biggest story in the land this morning. As regards the APC, what should I say again? Who should I speak up for? Oh, I would speak up for the deputy governor in Ogun State, whose name was removed. But when we said the APC internal democracy was faulty, I'm probably sure she will be part of those that defended so much. But this has been visited upon us. Or should I speak up for the Kwara senator, who said he was gone in for the governorship primaries, but his name came out in the senatorial primaries and he was defeated? Or who should I speak up for? Billionaire businessman, Ned Nwoko, isn't it? Should I speak up for him? Yes, I'll speak up for Ned. But he crossed and he thought the APC was going to give him El Dorado. But now he has eaten breakfast. Who else shall I speak up for? The list is endless. But most importantly, when Mike Guinea was speaking up and telling you guys that the same electoral laws you signed was going to put you in problems, you called us the liars, then you called us names. But today, you want us to speak up for you because the same party you trusted so much and you put everything in and you thought you were going to get an automatic seat has come around to bite you. What has happened in the APC with the primaries is just a clear case of bushmeat catching the hunter. However, remember the words of Samson Tan when he sang so proudly that one day bushmeat will catch the hunter. So all of those that have benefited from this same shenanigan now sees what it feels like when they lose now. And if you dare call this internal democracy and primary, yes, I will remind you by saying, Yaya Bello, that the EFCC chief bragged that if I don't bring to book, I will leave my job, has gotten the Senate primary candidature in his states as we speak today. In fact, we don't even know what to believe because some people brought out the story and said, oh, he didn't qualify for the screening, but he also won. So that's your democracy for you. And like Dr. Bati said yesterday, yes, Olomisore did even win from the prison. But the question you'll ask is, where is the place for common decorum and the fight against corruption? Where is the place for at least saying, let me settle my corrupt case before I think of politics? But people here say, oh, it's not been convicted, isn't it? And that's the kind of life we live.
Okay.
Yaya Bello is walking scot-free. El Rufai, we're trying to perfect his bail. All corruption.
Okay, I have extremely limited time.
Oh yes, this is a very shocking news. That is the main reason why people like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Simon Ekpa, and rest of them that keep demanding for separation of Nigeria. Let every zone go and arrange yourself not still keep claiming that you are in one Nigeria. As long as you are in one Nigeria, Nigeria will keep happening to you, to your ethnic group, to your nation, and to your people. Because these evil politicians, they are too corrupt. What they have and what they have in mind, it is their selfish interest. They have nothing good in mind. A nation claiming sovereignty, whenever they come, they will tell you that Nigeria is a sovereign nation. But if you look around what is happening, you'll be asking yourself, are we living in a country or are we just living in animal kingdom? Because there is no any comparison between these and animals. That is it. Because the leaders we are having in this country, they don't think with their brain. They don't think at all. What they know is how they're going to get power by all means. So if you speak or if you talk against them, the next thing you that is crying for the poor, they will come for you. Why the people that is kidnapping people, harassing people, doing all sorts of things, they are going to be paying those people because of it is a sign that we are not in a country. It is very, very shocking news. Already, what has happened has happened. Time have come. Let the Yorubas, those people that used to claim they are elects, they read so much book. This time, none of them is now talking. Their pastor that used to protest every time something happened during the good luck time. Now he is no more protesting. They are no more talking. Then all of them now is now moots because of they find out that it is their brother Tinubu. And what is killing Nigeria is issue of my brother, my brother, my brother, my brother. In a country that dwells in ethnicity issue, region issue, and this tribalism issue can never grow. It can never grow, no matter what. The situation the country finds itself, no any country in the world that has grown with this type of method and with this type of system. No place, no place. The only thing that will keep telling you is that let's fix the country, which they know that the country can never be fixed. A man came out and starts calling and start saying what everybody need to listen to him and ask him how are we going to do this so that let everybody have his own part of this cake, national cake they are sharing anyhow. Then what they do is to tag him a terrorist and to sentence him life imprisonment. Now he's now in Sokoto doing what? Serving as a prisoner of conscience. Then Omotosho called him a national terrorist in national TV. Today, he has now seen the real terrorist. I don't know what he's going to call those ones that is beheading teacher's head. A toddler, a child that know nothing, that have not even started walking. They kidnap him, kidnap them, and other things. They kidnap them. Children that have not even reached up to 10 years, up to 8 years, they kidnap all of them. They are in forest. Then the presidents, when they ask them questions, they will keep talking and saying they are on top of it. But had it been it is any of the president's son or any of the senator, Oduduwa, or any of them that they kidnap within 24 hours, you will see they will release them because of the belief that they are the father and they are the everything of Nigeria. So when something happened to the poor, you are gone. When it happens to the rich man, then everybody will stand up and start fighting for it. And that is the main cause, the reason why this country is not growing. Tribalism, nepotism, corruption, religion, and a lot of things is destroying the nation. And if they keep with this stand, I don't think anything will work and nothing can work. Well, I would like your comment down below. What do you think about your thing? Like, subscribe, and make sure you share it for everyone to see things going on in Nigeria. We are here giving you direct and live and things going on in the country. We say thank you for watching.